Hello once again to another episode of My Book of Mormon. This happens to be episode 5, and you're listening to your host, David Michael. So we're going to go right back into the book of Nephi and the Book of Mormon, and, starting on chapter 16. Normally I do like a previously on, but I don't know, the last one was just painful. So Nephi continued to have this dream, but this time, instead of dreaming about Jesus, he dreamed about America, and I don't want to get into it. And we also learned just how racist God is. Apparently, the more you turn away from God, the darker your skin gets, and the more holy you are, the whiter your skin is. So isn't that just a lovely premise? I'm still mad about that. Anyway, I hope it doesn't matter. If it comes up again, I'll just get madder, and if it doesn't, it's still just going to be in the back of my mind. Anyway, the good news is that Nephi's dreams have finally ended, or a dream. I guess it was one incredibly long dream, occupied several long chapters. And now he's back with his family. And those brothers of his, the Laman and Lemuel, who are constantly, being stiff-necked, and then changing their mind and coming to God, and then being stiff-necked again, and then going to God. Yeah, at this particular junction, they have repented. And they are now back on the, I guess our dad knows what he's talking about. So, all one happy family. Knowing their story so far, I have a feeling it won't be long-lived. And as always, if you want to help out the show a lot, you can always go to iTunes and rate this podcast, and hopefully even write a review. That will help tremendously, so appreciate all of you that have done that already, and for those that haven't, if you could take a moment to do that, that would be great. And if you would like to send me any comments, questions, or just a message in general, you can do that by emailing me at comments@mybookofmormonpodcast.com, or you can leave a post on my blog at mybookofmormonpodcast.com, or lastly, if you want to visit the Facebook page and post a message there, you can do that at www.facebook.com/mybookofmormonpodcast. Okay, so I guess that's enough for now. We'll just jump right into chapter 16. In the good old book of Nephi. And now it came to pass that after I, Nephi, had made an end of speaking to my brethren, behold, they said unto me, Thou hast declared unto us hard things, more than we were able to bear. And it came to pass that I said unto them, that I knew that I had spoken hard things against the wicked, according to the truth. And the righteous have I justified, and testify that they should be lifted up at the last day. Wherefore the guilty taketh the truth to be hard, for it cutteth them to the very center. Well, that's kind of a mean thing to say. So like, man, the stuff you told us was kind of hard to hear. And he's like, well, you were guilty, so yeah, I imagine it was hard to hear. So that just seems like a mean thing to say to his brothers. And now, my brethren, if you were righteous, and were willing to hearken to the truth, and give heed unto it, that ye might walk uprightly before God, then ye would not murmur because of the truth, and say, Thou speakest hard things against us. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, did exhort my brethren, with all diligence, to keep the commandments of the Lord. And it came to pass that they did humble themselves before the Lord, insomuch that I had joy and great hopes of them, that they would walk in the path of righteousness. Alright, so he's basically, once again, saying, wouldn't be so hard to hear if you weren't such a-holes to God. And they're like, alright, our bad, we're going to be good now. Now everybody's happy. It's wonderful. Great start to chapter 16. And now all these things were said and done, as my father dwelt in a tent in the valley which he called Lemuel. He is obsessed with the fact that his dad's in a tent. Anyway. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, took one of the daughters of Ishmael to wife. Well, there we go. Earlier it said that was the whole reason that these women were there. So now it's good to know that they're finally, making use of themselves, I guess, according to this. So, right, so Nephi took one of the daughters. I wonder who... And also my brethren took of the daughters of Ishmael to wife, and also Zoram took the eldest daughter of Ishmael to wife. So, Zoram was the servant, so he got the, whatever was left over, the old girl. All the rest of them got the young'uns. Nephi took a little young daughter of Ishmael. And thus my father had fulfilled all the commandments of the Lord which had been given unto him. And also I, Nephi, had been blessed of the Lord exceedingly. I suppose he thinks he's blessed because he got a nice little young wife. Is she going to get a name, I wonder? Or she's just... we'll find. I always do that. I wonder, and then it's like the next verse it tells me, but we'll see if that happens. And it came to pass that the voice of the Lord spake unto my father by night, and commanded him that on the morrow we should take his journey into the wilderness. What are you talking about? We're already in the wilderness. Don't they live in the wilderness? I guess I have to go to another part of the wilderness. And it came to pass that as my father arose in the morning and went forth to the tent door, to his great astonishment he beheld upon the ground a round ball of curious workmanship, as if it were of fine brass, and within the ball were 2 spindles, and the one pointed the way whither we should go into the wilderness. This is not happening. Oh, Book of Mormon, you came back. You got boring for a while, but now you're back. So it sounds like that there was a miracle God compass. This is awesome. This is absolutely awesome. Okay, so they have a compass in 600 AD. Fantastic. And I don't know where it came from. He just walked out of his tent, and there it was. That's awesome. I mean, I understand why they needed it. Like Moses traveled around the wilderness for 40 years. He didn't need a compass. Of course, he did have like a pillar of fire. Yeah, I suppose he had that. So they need a compass. Oh, this is great. I hope they get more crazy. I love the crazy stuff. Okay, so this is, where were we? So they got their compass now. They didn't call it a compass. They called it something round with 2 spindles that pointed the way they should go. And it came to pass that we did gather together whatsoever things we should carry into the wilderness, and all the remainder of our provisions, which the Lord had given unto us, we did take seed of every kind that we might carry into the wilderness. You know, they really need to find a synonym for the word seed, because that's what they call their descendants, is their seed. And so when they're saying we took seed of every kind, I mean, what does that make you think? I have some image of a sperm bank, and they're like collecting all the samples, but I think they're actually referring to some other type of seed. Anyway, and it came to pass that we did take our tents and depart into the wilderness across the river Laman. And it came to pass that we traveled for the space of 4 days, nearly a southeast direction, and we did pitch our tents again, and we did call the name of the place Shazer. We'll say Shazer. All right, first of all, 600 AD. I keep doing that. 600 BC. All right, this is 600 BC. This is like ancient times, like just forever ago, right? And yet he's chiseled into his plate that he's writing on. We traveled south by southeast. Really? That you have that much of a sense of direction, did you? Well, they did to the compass. I forgot. So he knows what south and southeast is. All right. And so now they pitched their tents and they're in Shazer. We're going with Shazer or Shazer. No, I like Shazer. Okay. And it came to pass that we did take our bows and our arrows and go forth into the wilderness to slay food for our families. And after we had slain food for our families, we did return again to our families in the wilderness, to the place Shazer. And we did go forth again in the wilderness, following the same direction, keeping in the most fertile parts of the wilderness, which were in the borders near the Red Sea. And it came to pass that we did travel for the space of many days, slaying food, by the way. That's awesome. We just slayed our food. Yes, I need some food. Let me go slay it. That's awesome. With our bows and our arrows and our stones and our slings. Well, that's impressive. Taking out animals with stones. They're pretty good at hunting. I'll give them that. And we did follow the directions of the ball. The directions of the ball. That's awesome. Which led us in the more fertile parts of the wilderness. So so this is not just a compass. Apparently I was wrong. It's a lot more than a compass, because it actually points to wherever the food is. It's a food compass. It just points you. That's great. That thing's awesome. I want one. And after we had traveled for the space of many days, we did pitch our tents for the space of a time, that we might again rest ourselves and obtain food for our families. Sometimes they don't give enough detail, right? When he's just like, especially when he's talking about his visions, and he's like, I saw the whore of the earth, and it's like, well, can you tell us about her? But he doesn't. But then in this, now they're giving like way too many details, right? So it's like, after we traveled, we would stop and then get food and then rest, and then we'd leave again. It's like, well, yeah, I get it. You're on a road trip. Thanks. Like, I don't need exactly. Did you? Then we used the restroom and wiped ourselves. Like, come on. We understand. And it came to pass that as I, Nephi, went forth to slay food, behold, I did break my bow. Oh no, that's terrible. Broke his bow. What's he going to do now? He's going to use his rocks, which was made of fine steel. And after I did break my bow, behold, my brethren were angry with me because of the loss of my bow, for we did obtain no food. Well, I guess his brothers weren't helping. Nephi was the food slayer. And it came to pass we did return without food to our families. Seriously, he has 3 brothers. And he's the youngest, I think, isn't he? I think Nephi's the youngest. So Nephi's bow breaks. They're like, well, I guess we're going hungry tonight. What are the other ones doing? Whatever. Okay, no food to the families. And being much fatigued because of their journeying, they did suffer much for the want of food. And it came to pass that Laman and Lemuel and the sons of Ishmael did begin to murmur exceedingly. Here we go again. Boy, that didn't take long, did it? They're already back to murmuring. All right, let's see what they have to say now. Because of their sufferings and afflictions in the wilderness, and also my father began to murmur against the Lord his God. Whoa, Lehi's murmuring. Man, everybody's mad. I'll tell you, one night without food, and now Lehi, the whole patriarch of the story, is he's starting to murmur against God. This is boy, you better take better care of your bow next time, Nephi. You really started a storm. All right, and they were all exceedingly sorrowful, and that they did murmur against the Lord. Now it came to pass that I, Nephi, having been afflicted with my brethren because of the loss of my bow, and their bows having lost their spring. Oh, there you go. Now his brothers are giving their excuse. It's like, well, our bows lost their spring. You see, that's why we can't help. It began to be exceedingly difficult, yea, insomuch that we could obtain no food. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, did speak much unto my brethren, because they had hardened their hearts again, even unto complaining against the Lord their God. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, did make out of wood a bow. And I, Nephi, did make out of wood a bow, and out of a straight stick an arrow. Wherefore I did arm myself with a bow and an arrow, with a sling and with stones. And I said unto my father, Whither shall I go to obtain food? What, doesn't he have the magic ball that'll show him? Maybe you should just look at the ball. All right, let's see what happens. And it came to pass that he did inquire of the Lord, for they had humbled themselves because of my words. For I did say many things unto them in the energy of my soul. And it came to, I guess it's basically saying he shamed them. So everyone's just like, God, you suck. We're hungry. You didn't give us food. F you. and so Nephi's coming up like, come on, guys. We can't make a new bow. Come on. What's wrong with you? You gave up on God? So now they're all a little humbled. They're humbled. And it came to pass that the voice of the Lord came unto my father, and he was truly chastened because of his murmurings against the Lord, insomuch that he was brought down into the depths of sorrow. Okay, he was pretty depressed because he's like, man, I like a little grumbling in my tummy, and I just started yelling at God. I should be ashamed of myself. It came to pass that the voice of the Lord said unto him, Look upon the ball, and behold the things which are written. Wait, there's something written on the ball? So seriously, This is just, I love this book. It just gets more and more ridiculous. So he woke up, he saw this brass ball. I didn't even catch that before. Was it a brass ball? I mean, I'm not going to go into what that means, but yeah, I mean, some people know, like, I got some brass balls there. Yeah, that's what it was. It is indeed brass balls, or a brass ball, not plural. All right, where were we? Okay. So he walks out of his tent, and there's this brass ball sitting there on the ground. He picks it up, and he's like, oh, it's got these pointers, and apparently it points to food. Somehow I know that. And so they follow it. And all this time they're staring at this ball. Nobody notices if there's something written on it until if you're God and you're in heaven, and they're like, what do we do? What do we do? And he's like, well, I wrote it on the damn ball. Look at the ball. Just look at it, So yeah, apparently he had to like yell from heaven, like, look at the words, dummies. So, all right. And it came to pass that when my father beheld the things which were written upon the ball, he did fear and tremble exceedingly. And also my brethren, and the sons of Ishmael, and our wives. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, beheld the pointers which were in the ball, and they did work according to the faith and diligence and heed which we did give unto them. And there was also written upon them a new writing, which was plain to be read, which did give us understanding concerning the ways of the Lord. And it was written and changed from time to time, according to the faith and diligence which we gave unto it. And thus we see that by small means the Lord can bring about great things. Wow, this is nuts. This is nuts. All right. So, first of all, they didn't notice there was writing on the ball. And then when they noticed it, they said, oh, somebody wrote on our brass ball. And so they looked at it, and everybody just got scared. No one didn't say what was written on it. They're just afraid. Nephi is saying, well, what's written on it's going to change according to how faithful we are towards it. Like, whoa. I mean, it's like, this is like some Harry Potter stuff, right? Like, you can see, weird. Magic brass ball. Okay. This is getting fun. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, did go forth up into the top of a mountain, according to the directions which were given upon the ball. Well, there you go. Follow the ball. And it came to pass that I did slay wild beasts, insomuch that I obtained food for our families. And the ball's never wrong. And it came to pass that I did return to our tents, bearing the beasts which I had slain. And now when they beheld that I had obtained food, how great was their joy! And it came to pass that they did humble themselves before the Lord, and did give thanks unto him. So they're a pretty easy date. Feed them, and they'll worship you forever, God. If they get a little hungry, yeah, look out. And it came to pass that we did again take our journey, traveling nearly the same course as in the beginning. And after we had traveled for the space of many days, we did pitch our tents again, that we might tarry for the space of a time. Are they going anywhere? It doesn't say. They're just wandering. Well, I guess they're following the ball. Well, the ball just points them to food, right? So I don't know if they have like a final destination. The ball's just kind of survival, right? This is where you're going to eat. I don't know where they're going. I guess they don't either. God just said start wandering. Okay. And it came to pass that Ishmael died. Well, that was quick. And was buried in the space which was called Nahom. So Ishmael, his entire purpose in this book was that he had daughters, which, that he married off to Nephi and his brothers. I don't believe he ever said a word, had no character development at all, but yet it's important for us to know where he was buried. In Nahom. Great. This completely inconsequential character. Better tell me where he is, where his body is. And it came to pass that the daughters of Ishmael did mourn exceedingly, because of the loss of their father, and because of their afflictions in the wilderness. And they did murmur against my father, because he had brought them out of the land of Jerusalem, saying, Our father is dead, yea, and we have wandered much in the wilderness, and we have suffered much affliction, hunger, thirst, and fatigue. And after all these sufferings, we must perish in the wilderness with hunger. I think they're being a little, forgetting what Nephi's doing for them. If I were Nephi, I'd be like, really? You're going to perish with hunger? I got a magic ball, got a new bow. Come on, what are you talking about? You could say thank you. And thus they did murmur against my father, and also against me, and they were desirous to return again to Jerusalem. And Laman said unto Lemuel, and also unto the sons of Ishmael, Behold, let us slay our father, and also our brother Nephi, who has taken it upon him to be our ruler and our teacher, who are his elder brethren. Now he say that the Lord has talked with him, and also that angels have ministered unto him. But behold, we know that he lies unto us, and he tells us these things, and he worketh many things by his cunning arts, that he may deceive our eyes, thinking, perhaps, that he may lead us away into some strange wilderness. And after he has led us away, he has thought to make himself a king and a ruler over us, that he may do with us according to his will and pleasure. And after this manner did my brother Laman stir up the hearts to anger. Yeah, so Laman is saying, this has just gone far enough. They have not been a part of this plan from day one. Now and then, someone will say something, and they're like, okay, God, good, sorry, my bad. Now and then they'll turn back, but it doesn't take long. I mean, it's like their faith is shaky, because once again, they're like, this is nonsense. Why are we wandering around this wilderness, barely surviving? There's no reason for this. There isn't. We'll just kill this dad of ours, who's clearly insane, and then problem solved. And Nephi, since you're like all buddy-buddy with him, I guess you gotta go too. And it came to pass that the Lord was with us. Yea, even the voice of the Lord came and did speak many words unto them, and did chasten them exceedingly. And after they were chastened by the voice of the Lord, they did turn away their anger, and did repent of their sins, insomuch that the Lord did bless us again with food, that we did not perish. So that was 16. So once again at the end, we started the chapter with Laman and Lemuel being all good and godly, and all part of the family. They got a little hungry, and then they're like, screw all of you, screw God, screw my family, I want to kill all of you, we're done. And then just God just came down and yelled at them. He just gave him a little shaming. How could you be faithful? And they're like, oh, sorry. Okay, we love God again. Nephi, you're okay. Oh, so that was the end of chapter 16. All right, chapter 17. I'm excited. Things have gotten fun again. We have magic brass balls and and the brothers getting bad, and now they're good again. This is exactly what we were hoping for. We're back in the fun. All right. And it came to pass that we did again take our journey in the wilderness, and we did travel nearly eastward from that time forth. And we did travel and wade through much affliction in the wilderness, and our women did bear children in the wilderness. Well, I guess they're out there at least 9 months. Our women. That's fantastic. I love that none of them get names. Just our women. Yeah. I think his mom, Sariah, Nephi's mom, is the only woman, I think. Yeah, I think that's the only woman who got a name in this book so far. So she must be something special. And so great were the blessings of the Lord upon us, that while we did live upon raw meat in the wilderness, our women did give plenty of suck for their children. That is a great way of saying that. They gave plenty of suck. I'm sorry. That's just funny. And were strong, yea, even like unto the men. And they began to bear their journeyings without murmurings. This is great. So, the women, we should look up to them because they were as strong as men. Good for them. Good for you women. Stepping up to the plate there and not complaining like you normally do. And thus we see that the commandments of God must be fulfilled. And if it so be that the children of men keep the commandments of God, he doth nourish them, and strengthen them, and provide means, whereby they can accomplish the things which he has commanded them. Wherefore he did provide means for us while we did sojourn in the wilderness. And we did sojourn for the space of many years, yea, even 8 years in the wilderness. Man, they were out there for a while. Why? I don't understand why they were in the wilderness for 8 years, but they were. What are you going to do? And we did come to the land which we called Bountiful, because of its much fruit, and also wild honey, and all the things we prepared of the Lord, that we might not perish. And we beheld the sea, which we called, Irrenatum. Irrenatum. I can't say that word. Irreantum. Irrenatum, which, being interpreted, is many waters. Okay, fair enough. I think it's the Atlantic Ocean. And it came to pass that we did pitch our tents by the seashore, and notwithstanding we had suffered many afflictions, and much difficulty, yea, even so much that we could not write them all. We were exceedingly rejoiced when we came to the seashore, and we called the place Bountiful, because of its much fruit. So that's the second time you told us that you named it Bountiful, okay? I guess it bared repeating. Yeah, and I also love earlier that it was like, we were so great with the blessings of the Lord upon us, and then it's like, yeah, but we went through hell. We had so many afflictions, but we were so blessed. Which one is it? Take your pick. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, had been in the land of Bountiful for the space of many days. And the voice of the Lord came unto me, saying, Arise, and get thee into the mountain. And it came to pass that I arose, and went up into the mountain, and cried unto the Lord. And it came to pass that the Lord spake unto me, saying, Thou shalt construct a ship, after the manner which I shall show thee, that I may carry thy people across these waters. All right. Nephi is getting a little instructions like Noah there, how to build a ship, and we're going to take it across the Atlantic. And I said, Lord, whither shall I go, that I may find ore to molten, that I may make tools to construct the ship after the manner which thou hast shown me? And it came to pass that the Lord told me whither I should go to find ore, that I might make tools. Man, so God said, here's how you build a ship. And he's like, what is metal? I don't know how to make that. And God's like, don't worry, I'll give you the tools that you can learn how to make metal. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, did make a bellows wherewith to blow the fire of the skins of beasts. And after I had made a bellows, that I might have wherewith to blow the fire, I did smite 2 stones together, that I might make fire. What? Did God have to teach you how to do that too, Nephi? Did God have to teach you how to make a fire? Yeah, I would have thought that by now you would have known how to make fire. I mean, were they seriously eating raw, like uncooked meat all this time? I don't think that's healthy. For the Lord had not hitherto suffered that we should make much fire, as we journeyed in the wilderness, for he said, I will make thy food become sweet, that ye cook it not. Wow, I was like being sarcastic before, but apparently they really were eating raw meat, and God said it would be okay for them. That's interesting. That's just a weird detail. And I will also be your light in the wilderness, and I will prepare the way before you, if it so be that ye shall keep my commandments. Wherefore, inasmuch as ye shall keep my commandments, ye shall be led towards the promised land, and ye shall know that it is by me that you are led. Yea, and the Lord said also that, after ye had arrived in the promised land, ye shall know that I, the Lord, am God, and that I, the Lord, did deliver you from destruction. Yea, that I did bring you out of the land of Jerusalem. Yeah, 8 years. I mean, think about how far you could go in 8 years. I'm fairly certain you could walk across, I think, any continent on the planet in 8 years. But yeah, somehow they feel like the Lord really led them. I think he led them in a lot of circles. If it took them 8 years to get from Jerusalem to the Atlantic Ocean, that's yeah, you were walking in circles for a while. Anyway. Wherefore I, Nephi, did strive to keep the commandments of the Lord, and I did exhort my brethren to faithfulness and diligence. And it came to pass that I did make tools of the ore which I did molten out of the rock. And when my brethren saw that I was about to build a ship, they began to murmur against me. Oh, they're back again to their murmurings. Again, didn't last long. These guys are faithful for like a day. And then as soon as anything goes wrong, they're like, nope, I'm out. Forget it, drop the mic. Okay, so they murmured against him, saying, Our brother is a fool, for he thinketh that he can build a ship. Yea, he also thinketh that he can cross these great waters. Yeah, that's fair. In this day and age, I would not think it very likely that you could make it across the Atlantic. But I don't know, he's got directions from God, so, I think he's going to get himself a pretty good ship there. And thus my brethren did complain against me. They were desirous that they might not labor, for they did not believe that I could build a ship. Neither would they believe that I was instructed of the Lord. So they're basically saying, Nephi, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going to build a ship. They're like, you know nothing about shipbuilding at all. And Nephi's like, well, God showed me how. And they're like, okay, you're full of crap again. So, yeah, there they go, murmuring. And now it came to pass that I, Nephi, was exceedingly sorrowful because of the hardness of their hearts. And now when they saw that I began to be sorrowful, they were glad in their hearts, insomuch that they did rejoice over me, saying, We knew that you could not construct a ship, for we knew that you were lacking in judgment. Wherefore, thou canst not accomplish so great a work. The one thing I miss, at first they described them as being stiff-necked, and I know I've repeated that like several times, but the book actually has not. They're now just saying hardening of their hearts, and it's just not as fun to say. But, every time I hear hardening of their hearts, in my mind I'm thinking stiff-necked. Okay, and thou art like unto our father, led away by the foolish imaginations of his heart. Yea, he hath led us out of the land of Jerusalem, and we have wandered in the wilderness for these many years, and our women have toiled, being big with child, that they have borne children in the wilderness, and suffered all things, save it were death. Okay, so they suffered, but didn't die. Okay. And it would have been better that they had died before they came out of Jerusalem than to have suffered these afflictions. Man, it must have been pretty rough. They're basically saying death would have been better than what we put up with for the last 8 years. Behold, these many years we have suffered in the wilderness, which time we might have enjoyed our possessions in the land of our inheritance. Yea, and we might have been happy. It's a good argument. It is a good argument. Like, if we had just stayed home, maybe it wouldn't have been great, but probably would have been. And now we know that the people who were in the land of Jerusalem were a righteous people, for they kept the statutes and judgments of the Lord, and all his commandments according to the laws of Moses. Wherefore, we know that they are a righteous people, and our Father hath judged them, and hath led us away, because we would hearken unto his words. Yea, and our brother is like unto him. And after this manner of language did my brethren murmur and complain against us. Well, that is interesting. So he's saying, they're basically saying, our dad went around telling everyone in Jerusalem they were evil, and they were bad people. And, it's been 8 years, and we're looking back, and they're really not. They're actually pretty good people, so what do you have to say for yourself, Nephi? And it came to pass that I, Nephi, spake unto them, saying, Do ye believe that our fathers, who were the children of Israel, would have been led away out of the hands of the Egyptians if they had not hearkened unto the words of the Lord? Yea, do you suppose that they would have been led out of bondage if the Lord had not commanded Moses that he should lead them out of bondage? Man, he's Moses now? He definitely has a superiority complex. Now ye know that the children of Israel were in bondage, and ye know that they were laden with tasks, which were grievous to be borne. Wherefore, ye know that it must needs be a good thing for them, that they should be brought out of bondage. This is not a good simile. Is that the word? No, metaphor. I don't know. It's not a good example to bring up, because he's basically saying that, everybody in Jerusalem is fine, right? They're okay. They're not being evil. But, if they were in bondage, God would have taken care of them, right? Like, I don't see how those two, that seems like complete apples and oranges. All right. Now ye know that Moses was commanded of the Lord to do that great work. And ye know that by his word the waters of the Red Sea were divided hither and thither, that they passed through on dry ground. And you know the Egyptians were drowned in the Red Sea, who were the armies of the Pharaoh. How are they going to go through the whole story of Moses? Yeah, it looks like it. Sorry. All right, we're going to power through. Looks like he's just going to tell everything that happened to Moses and the Israelites again. So here we go. And ye also know that they were fed with manna in the wilderness. Yea, and ye also know that Moses, by his word, according to the power of God which was in him, smote the rock, and there came forth water, that the children of Israel might quench their thirst. And notwithstanding, they being led, the Lord their God, their Redeemer, going before them, leading them by day, and giving them light unto them by night, and doing all things for them which were expedient for man to receive, they hardened their hearts and blinded their minds, and reviled against Moses and God, and true and living God. I think I might have messed up some of that wording, but, I don't think anyone cares. It's, telling Moses' story. And it came to pass that according to his word he did destroy them. Whoa, who destroyed? Okay, again, his and them are not defined, so according to his word he did destroy them. And according to his word he did lead them. Which one? You can't lead someone you just destroyed. I don't know. And according to his word he did do all the things for them, and there was not any things done save it were by his word. So I guess it just means like God punished them and led them. But he did use the word destroy, which implies like no survivors, but anyway. And after they had crossed the river Jordan, he did make them mighty unto the driving out of the children of the land, yea, unto the scattering them to destruction. And now do ye suppose that the children of this land, who were in the land of promise, who were driven out by their fathers, do ye suppose that they were righteous? Behold, I say unto you, nay. Yeah, so all of those children that were living in Jericho when Joshua just killed them all, yeah, they were not righteous. They weren't righteous. They deserved it. You know, those newborns, always just crying all the time, just smite their heads off, right? I shouldn't be laughing about that, but, you know, that is kind of what this is implying. Do you suppose that our fathers would have been more choice than they if they had been righteous? I say unto you, nay. It seemed like a triple negative. I don't know. I'll move on. Behold, the Lord esteemeth all flesh in one, that he is righteous, is favored of God. But behold, this people had rejected every word of God, and they were ripe in iniquity, and the fullness of the wrath of God was upon them. And the Lord did curse the land against them, and bless it unto our fathers. Yea, he did curse it against them unto their destruction, and he did bless it unto our fathers unto obtaining power over it. Behold, the Lord hath created the earth, that it should be inhabited, and he hath created his children, that they should possess it. Yeah, that is kind of the story of the Bible, right? It's like, yep, the Lord created all of the people of the earth, but he only blessed one of them, which happened to be the Israelites. Kind of messed up. And he raiseth up a righteous nation, and destroyed the nations of the wicked. And he leadeth away the righteous into precious lands, and the wicked he destroyeth, and curseth the land for them for their sakes. I think this is just going on and on. Yeah. It's pretty much the story that the Israelites were the children of God, and, they deserved everything that they got, and if they killed anyone along the way, it was okay because they weren't righteous. All right. He ruleth high in the heavens, for it is his throne, and the earth is his footstool. Could you imagine that? Image that. So you get this throne in like space, and this giant God sitting on it, and when he wants to stretch his legs out, there's the earth, and he just plops his feet on top of it. That's a nice image. And he loveth those who will have him to be their God. Behold, he loved our fathers, and he covenanted with them, yea, even Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he remembered the covenants which he had made, wherefore he did bring them out of the land of Egypt. And he did straighten them in the wilderness with his rod, for they hardened their hearts, even as ye have. And the Lord straightened them because of their iniquity. He sent fiery flying serpents among them. What? When did he send fiery flying serpents? I'm going to have to look that up in the Bible. I don't remember flying serpents on fire in the Bible. I just feel like that would have stood out. But, apparently according to Nephi, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob at some point in their lives had to deal with flying fiery serpents. And after they were bitten, he prepared a way that they might be healed. And the labor which they had to perform was to look, and because of the simpleness of the way, or the easiness of it, there were many who perished. This is not making sense. I'm just going to keep going. And they did harden their hearts from time to time, and they did revile against Moses, and also against God. Nevertheless, ye know that they were led forth by his matchless power in the land of promise. And now after all these things, the time has come that they have been wicked, yea, nearly unto ripeness. And I know not, but they are at this day about to be destroyed. For I know that the day must surely come that they must be destroyed, save a few only, who shall be led away into captivity. So this is the prophecy, right? That Jerusalem's going to be destroyed, and they're all going to go into captivity in Babylon or whatever. Wherefore the Lord commanded my father that he should depart into the wilderness, and the Jews also sought to take away his life, yea, and ye have also sought to take away his life. Wherefore ye are murderers in your hearts, and ye are like unto them. Ye are swift to do iniquity, but slow to remember the Lord your God. Ye have seen an angel, and he spake unto you, yea, ye have heard his voice from time to time, and he hath spoken unto you in a still small voice, but ye were past feeling, that you could not feel his words. Wherefore he has spoken unto you like the voice of thunder, which did cause the earth to shake, as if it were to divide asunder. If all this is true, like if this really is the case, that an angel came down and talked to Laman and Lemuel, and God just was yelling at him so loud it made the earth shake, in that case, Nephi has a point. Like, what more do you two need to know that this is the truth? Like, really, what more do you need? But I don't think that either of those two things happen, and I think these two brothers are just saying, look, you're just asking me to take all this on faith, and we're not going to. All right. And ye also know that by the power of his almighty word he can cause the earth that it shall pass away. Yea, and ye know that by his word he can cause the rough places to be made smooth, and the smooth places shall be broken up. Oh, then why is it that ye can be so hard in your hearts? Behold, my soul is rent with anguish because of you. My heart is pained. I fear lest ye shall be cast off forever. Behold, I am full of the Spirit of God, insomuch that my frame has no strength. All right, that's the first time I've heard Nephi say anything bad about himself. Earlier he talked about strong in stature and young man, but now he has no strength. I guess these 8 years in the wilderness really took a toll. And now it came to pass that when I had spoken these words, they were angry with me. They were desirous to throw me into the depths of the sea. And as they came forth to lay their hands upon me, I spake unto them, saying, In the name of the Almighty God, I command you that ye touch me not, for I am filled with the power of God, even unto the consuming of my flesh. And whoso lay his hands upon me, wither even as a dried reed, he shall be naught before the power of God, and God shall smite him. Whoa. So suddenly Nephi decided that if anyone touches him, God will kill him. That must be a good ally to have in your corner. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, said unto them that they should murmur no more against their father, neither should they withhold their labor from me, for God has commanded me that I should build a ship. And I said unto them, If God has commanded me to do all things, I could do them. If he should command me that I should say unto this water, Be thou earth, it should be earth. If I should say it, it would be done. Man, Nephi, he really is the cockiest person I've ever met. He actually believes if I looked at this ocean and said turn into land, it would do it. If I'm one of the brothers, I'd be like, okay, so do that then. I'll totally believe you. Just make that ocean turn into land, and I will build your boat. Of course, then you wouldn't need the boat, just walk across, but that's beside the point. And now, if the Lord has such great power, and has wrought so many miracles among the children of men, how is it that he cannot instruct me that I should build a ship? And it came to pass that I, Nephi, said many things unto my brethren, insomuch that they were confounded, and could not contend against me. Neither durst they lay their hands upon me, nor touch me with their fingers, even for the space of many days. Now they durst not do this, lest they should wither before me. So powerful was the Spirit of God, and thus it had wrought upon them. So I'm not sure if this book is saying that Nephi was actually given some type of curse skin by God, that if anyone touched him they would die, or if he just said it with such confidence it scared the crap out of him, right? Like, you touch me, you're gonna die. Who wants to touch me first? You wanted to throw me in the ocean? I'm just telling you, God's got my back. He said if anyone touches my skin, you're dead on the spot. Are you first, layman? Oh, how about you, Lemuel? No? That's what it sounds like. I think he was just scared him. And it came to pass that the Lord said unto me, Stretch forth thine hand again unto thy brethren, and they shall not wither before thee. But I will shock them, saith the Lord, and this I will do, that they may know that I am the Lord their God. And it came to pass that I stretched forth my hand unto my brethren, and they did not wither before me, but the Lord did shake them, even according to the word which he had spoken. Now, I'm totally looking up. I'm not looking down. But what do you want to bet? That Laman and Lemuel are about to repent and be all, oh, we love God again. And then, like, the first paragraph of the next chapter, they'll be murmuring again. We'll see. And now they said, We know of a surety that the Lord is with thee. Sure enough. For we know that it is the power of the Lord that has shaken us. And they fell down before me, and were about to worship me. But I would not suffer them, saying, I am thy brother, yea, even thy younger brother. Wherefore worship the Lord thy God, and honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long in the land which the Lord thy God shall give thee. Oh, what a nice brother. They're like, we're just terrified of you now. We want to worship you. And he's like, no. Worship God. Just be nice to mom and dad. Everything's going to be fine. Okay, so that was 17. Looks like we have time for 18. So let's jump right into it. And it came to pass that they did worship the Lord, and did go forth with me, and we did work timbers of curious workmanship. And the Lord did show me from time to time, after what manner I should work the timbers of the ship, from time to time. So he's sitting there, and he's got this wood, and he's hammering away at it, and God would come down and be like, no, the 4x4 goes on over there. And he's like, oh, thanks, God. Thanks for the tip. I guess I didn't have IKEA instructions back then. Now I, Nephi, did not work the timbers after the manner which was learned by men, neither did I build the ship after the manner of men, but I did build it after the manner which the Lord had shown unto me. Wherefore it was not after the manner of men. Got it. So men didn't know how to build ships back then. You were making a god ship. Beautiful. And I, Nephi, did go into the mountain oft. I guess that means often. And I did pray oft unto the Lord. Wherefore the Lord showed unto me many great things. And it came to pass. You're not going to share what these great things were that the Lord showed you? Okay, keep them to yourself, Nephi. Selfish. And it came to pass that after I had finished the ship, according to the word of the Lord, my brethren beheld that it was good, and that the workmanship thereof was exceedingly fine. Wherefore they did humble themselves again before the Lord. So they're like, hey, we thought you were crazy, but this is a pretty awesome ship. Gotta hand it to you, Nephi. And it came to pass that the voice of the Lord came unto my father, that we should arise and go down into the ship. And it came to pass that on the morrow, after we had prepared all things, much fruits and meat from the wilderness, and honey in abundance, and provisions, according to that which the Lord had commanded us, we did go down into the ship. I love this. First of all, their ship's done, right? It's sitting there. It's ready to go. But they can't do anything until the voice of the Lord came to Lehi and saying, hey, time to get on that ship. And then I love that the Lord had to command them to put food on it. Like, they wouldn't have thought that themselves. Like, yeah, good thing the Lord told us to put some provisions on this ship, because we were ready to just go. All right, and the Lord commanded us, we did go down into the ship with all our loading and our seeds, and whatsoever things we had brought with us, everyone according to his age, wherefore we did all go down into the ship, with our wives and our children. And now my father had begat 2 sons in the wilderness, and the elder was called Jacob, and the younger Joseph. So, great. Now there's 2 more brothers. So, we have, I can't remember which was first, but we'll say Laman, Lemuel, Sam, Nephi, Jacob, and Joseph. Okay, lots of brothers. I'll tell you, Sarai, I hope she wasn't hoping for a daughter, because so far she's got a ton of sons. 6 sons, no daughters. Or she had daughters and they're just not named in here. That's also somewhat likely. And it came to pass, after we had all gone down into the ship, they had taken with us our provisions and our things which had been commanded us. We did put forth into the sea, and were driven forth before the wind towards the promised land. And after we had been driven forth before the wind for the space of many days, behold, my brethren and the sons of Ishmael, also their wives, began to make themselves merry, insomuch that they began to dance, and to sing, and to speak with much rudeness, yea, even that they did forget by what power they had been brought thither. Yea, they were lifted up into exceeding rudeness. Okay. Is it bad for them to be happy and merry? And I mean, they just sound like, hey, it's a party on the ship. Let's do it. But apparently that's just rude. It's rude. Dancing. Who do you think you are? And I, Nephi, began to fear exceedingly, lest the Lord should be angry with us, and smite us because of our iniquity, that we should be swallowed up in the depths of the sea. Wherefore I, Nephi, began to speak to them with much soberness. But behold, they were angry with me, saying, we will not that our younger brother shall be a ruler over us. So again, he built this awesome god ship, and now they're like, yeah, you're still younger than us, so yeah, we're not going to listen to you. And it came to pass that Laman and Lemuel did take me and bind me with cords, and they did treat me with much harshness. Nevertheless, the Lord did suffer it, that he might show forth his power unto the fulfilling of his word which he had spoken concerning the wicked. So yeah, Nephi's in there like, no dancing. They're like, you know what? We're going to tie you up. We're going to shut you up, because we're having fun. You're being negative Nancy. Enough. And God's like, oh, really? Well, I'm going to show you. All right, let's see what happens. And it came to pass that after they had bound me insomuch that I could not move, the compass, which had been prepared of the Lord, did cease to work. Uh-oh, the brass balls aren't working anymore. That's gonna cause a problem. Wherefore they knew not whither they should steer the ship, insomuch that they arose a great storm. Yea, a great and terrible tempest. That's what they call the storm, a terrible tempest. And we were driven back upon the waters for the space of 3 days. And they began to be frightened exceedingly, lest they should be drowned in the sea. Nevertheless, they did not loose me. Wow, they had him tied up for days. And on the 4th day, which we had been driven back, the tempest began to be exceedingly sore. It came to pass that we were about to be swallowed up by the depths of the sea. After we had been driven back upon the waters for the space of 4 days, my brethren began to see that the judgment of God were upon them, and that they must perish, save that they should repent of their iniquities. Wherefore they came unto me, loosed my bands which were upon my wrists, and behold, they had swollen exceedingly. Big swollen wrists. And also mine ankles were much swollen, and great was the soreness thereof. Well, I'm glad they didn't go into anything else on him that was swollen. Nevertheless, I did look unto God, and I did praise him all the day long, and I did not murmur against the Lord because of mine afflictions. He's like, I'm in terrible and sufferable pain, but God is good. Yeah, this is great. Now my father Lehi had said many things unto them, and also unto the sons of Ishmael. But behold, they did breathe out much threatenings against anyone that they should speak for me. And my parents, being stricken in years, and having suffered much grief because of their children, they were brought down, yea, even upon their sick beds. Okay, so it sounds like Lehi and Sariah are, not looking good for them. They got sick. So they're on this boat, and, not looking good. Because of their grief and much sorrow and the iniquity of my brethren, they were brought near even to be carried out of this time to meet their God. Yea, their gray hairs were about to be brought down to lie low in the dust. Yea, even they were near to be cast with the sorrow of a watery grave. So, long story short, they're about to die. And Jacob and Joseph also, being young, having need of much nourishment, were grieved because of their afflictions of their mother. And also my wife with her tears and prayers, and also my children, did not soften the hearts of my brethren that they would loose me. Wait a minute, I thought he was already loosened. Didn't they already untie him? I don't know. And there was nothing save it were the power of God which threatened them with destruction could soften their hearts. Wherefore, I'm confused. I thought they already untied him and he was all swollen and stuff. Yeah, they loosed the bands upon, they already did that. But now it's saying they won't untie him. I don't know. So Nephi may or may not be tied up right now. We're not sure. There was nothing save it were the power of God which threatened them with destruction could soften their hearts. Wherefore, when they saw that they were about to be swallowed up by the depths of the sea, they repented of the things which they had done, insomuch that they loosed me. So they loosened him up, and then they kind of gave us some backstory. And it came to pass, after they loosed me, behold, I took the compass, and it did work, whither I desired it. It came to pass that I prayed unto the Lord, and after I had prayed, the winds did cease, and the storm did cease, and there was a great calm. Man, Nephi he can control everything. Compasses stop working until he holds them. Great storms until he calms them. Nephi is something else. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, did guide the ship, that we sailed again towards the promised land. And it came to pass that after we had sailed for the space of many days, we did arrive at the promised land. Pretty sure it was more than a few days. Didn't it take Columbus months? Anyway, but Columbus didn't have a god ship, though, right? I mean, this one, they had a god ship, so it must have been, pretty quick. And to pass, we'd sail many days that we did arrive at the promised land. So they're there. They hit America. Good for them. And we went forth upon the land and did pitch our tents, and we did call it the promised land. And it came to pass that we did begin to till the earth, began to plant seeds. Yea, we did put all our seeds into the earth, which we had brought from the land of Jerusalem. And it came to pass that they did grow exceedingly, wherefore we were blessed in abundance. It came to pass that we did find upon the land of promise, as we journeyed into the wilderness, that there were beasts in the forest of every kind, both the cow and the ox, and the ass and the horse, and the goat and the wild goat, and all manner of wild animals, which were for the use of men. And we did find all manner of ore, both gold and silver and copper. So I don't know about every one of these animals that they just referenced, but I'm fairly certain that horses did not exist in America until Europeans brought them over. But somehow they were there in this story. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 18. And I know I usually like to go an hour, but I don't know if I have it in me to read any more tonight. Oh, fine, I'll do one more. One more. Chapter 19, and that's it. All right, so they're in the promised land. They have reached America, the new world, and they're planting crops, and they're doing great. Lots of food. Just food. They're getting fat. Everything's good. And I'm not sure if the family's all happy now. I assume they are. It does seem like as long as they have food and they're not dying, everyone seems to love God. All right, chapter 19. And it came to pass that the Lord commanded me, wherefore I did make plates of ore, that I might engraven upon them the record of my people. And upon the plates which I made, I did engraven the record of my father, and also our journeyings in the wilderness, and the prophecies of my father, and also many of mine own prophecies have I engraved upon them. This is kind of interesting. I assume that this is Joseph Smith, and he's translating these plates, and now he's finding in chapter 19 that Nephi is starting to write on plates. So I guess everything, I guess everything up until now, Nephi just kept in his memory, and now he's chiseling all down on plates. Sure. And I knew not at the time when I made them that I should be commanded of the Lord to make these plates. Wherefore the record of my father and the genealogy of his fathers and more part of our proceedings in the wilderness, all engraven upon those first plates of which I have spoken. Wherefore the things which transpired before I made these plates are, of a truth, more particularly made mention upon the first plates. I can't tell you how little I care about which plates things were written on. It's completely irrelevant. But they really do want to make sure that we know, is it the small plate or the big plate? I don't care. I just don't care. And after I'd made these plates by way of commandment, I, Nephi, received a commandment that the ministry of the prophecies, the more plain and precious parts of them, should be written upon these plates, and that the things which are written should be kept for the instruction of my people who should possess the land, and also for other wise purposes, which purposes are known unto the Lord. I don't care what any of that means, I'm just reading. Wherefore I, Nephi, did make a record upon the other plates, which give an account, or which gives a greater account of the wars and contentions and destructions of my people, and this have I done, and commanded my people what they should do after I was gone, and that these plates should be handed down from one generation to another, or from one prophet to another, until further commandments of the Lord. Great. Plates. Wonderful. And an account of my making these plates shall be given hereafter, and then, behold, I proceeded according to that which I have spoken, and this I do, that the more sacred things may be kept for the knowledge of my people. Nevertheless, I do not write anything upon plates, save it be that I think it be sacred. How do you know it's sacred, Nephi? Yeah, I'm telling you. Only Nephi knows what's sacred and what isn't. Cockiest man in the world. And now, if I do err, even did they err of old, not that I would excuse myself because of other men, but because of the weakness which is in me, according to the flesh, I would excuse myself. Well, that's interesting. So Nephi's basically like, I'm going to say what's sacred and what isn't sacred, but in fairness, I am just a man, so I could be dead wrong. I don't know how we would know if he was right or wrong. Interesting. I'm going with wrong. I mean, that's my guess. For the things which some men esteem to be of great worth, both to the body and soul, others set at naught and trample under their feet. Yea, even the very God of Israel do men trample under their feet. I say, trample under their feet, but I would speak in other words. They set him at naught, and hearken not to the voice of his counsels. And behold, he cometh, according to the words of the angel, in 600 years, from the time my father left Jerusalem. All right, because of course Nephi already had the vision that Jesus was coming, so he knows that in 600 years Jesus is coming. I don't know what all this trampling of feet was. All right, so, and the world, because of their iniquity, shall judge him to be a thing of naught. Wherefore they scourge him, and he suffereth it. And they smite him, and he suffereth it. Yea, they spit upon him, and he suffereth it, because of his loving kindness and long suffering towards the children of men. I think you're just talking about Jesus. He's going to come, and they're just going to, smite him and crucify him. And the God of our fathers, who were led out of Egypt out of bondage, and also were preserved in the wilderness by him, yea, the God of Abraham, and of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, yieldeth himself, according to the words of the angel, as a man, into the hands of wicked men, to be lifted up, according to the words of Zenoch, and to be crucified, according to the words of Neum. I have to stop. What? When did we go to, space alien names? All right, so far I thought I was just, going to speed read through this, okay, yeah, you're going to tell Jesus' life again, right? And all of a sudden, let's break this down. So, all right, so Jesus, he was a man. The God came down as a man into the hands of wicked men. Fair enough. I mean, this is Jesus still. To be lifted up according to the words of Zenoch. What on earth is a Zenoch? And to be crucified according to the words of Neum, Neum. And to be buried in a sepulchre according to the words of Zenos. There's another one. We have Zenoch, Neum, and Zenos. What is happening? Which he spake concerning the 3 days of darkness, which should be a sign given of his death unto those who should inhabit the isles of the sea. More especially given unto those who are the house of Israel. I don't know what... maybe I should go back in the Bible and see if there's a Zenoch, Neum, and Zenos. I don't think there is. I mean, I've read the Bible. Those aren't ringing a bell. I don't know who these are. Anyway, this took a turn towards crazy again. We always appreciate that. Thank you, Book of Mormon, making it entertaining once again. For thus spake the prophet, the Lord God surely shall visit all the house of Israel at this day, some with his voice, because of their righteousness, unto their great joy and salvation, and others with the thunderings and the lightnings of his power, by tempest, by fire, and by smoke, and by vapors of darkness, and by the opening of the earth, and by the mountains which shall be carried up. All right, so kind of I don't know. Are we jumping to Revelations now? I don't know. And all these things must surely come, saith the prophet Zenos. The prophet Zenos. Zenos is a prophet now, all right. And the rocks of the earth must rend, and because of the groanings of the earth, many of the kings of the isles of the sea shall be wrought upon the Spirit of God to exclaim, the God of nature suffers. What is happening? This took a turn for the absolute crazy. So, there's kings of islands, and I don't know if like they worship a god of nature, and there's this prophet Xenos. I don't know what's happening anymore. I'm totally lost, but we're just going to keep going. Maybe it'll start to make sense. As for those who are at Jerusalem, saith the prophet, I assume this is Xenos again, who came from somewhere, they shall be scourged by all people, because they crucify the God of Israel, and turn their hearts aside, rejecting signs and wonders, and the power and glory of the God of Israel. And because they turn their hearts aside, saith the prophet, and have despised the Holy One of Israel, they shall wander in the flesh and perish, and become a hiss and a byword, and be hated among all nations. Man, so this is the whole Christ killer, and for that they're just gonna be hated. Nevertheless, when that day cometh, saith the prophet, that they no more turn aside their hearts against the Holy One of Israel, then will he remember the covenants which he made to their fathers. This is classic. Yeah, so listen up. Listen up, Jews. You ready for this? I've got another hard message from the Book of Mormon. Again, don't shoot the messenger. Don't be mad at me. This is I have to be the one to tell you this. Until you accept that Jesus was the Son of God, I'm afraid God's covenants don't count. Yeah, I'm sorry. They're all null and void, apparently, until you, accept Jesus into your hearts. Sorry, guys. So, it's not too hard. Just make that happen. Covenants are back. Israel will be, the favorite of God. You'll inherit the earth. Everything will be great. Just get that Jesus thing under control. All right. Yea, then will he remember the isles of the sea, yea, and all the people who are in the house of Israel will I gather in, saith the Lord, according to the words of the prophet Xenos. And from the 4 quarters of the earth, I wish I knew who Xenos was. Yea, and all the earth shall see the salvation of the Lord, saith the prophet. Every nation, kindred, tongue, and people shall be blessed. When is this happening? When is everyone going to be blessed? I don't know. This story, I still have no idea. And I, Nephi, have written these things unto my people, that perhaps I might persuade them that they would remember the Lord their Redeemer. Wherefore I speak unto all the house of Israel, if it so be that they should obtain these things. For behold, I have workings in the Spirit, which doth weary me, even all my joints are weak. For those who are in Jerusalem, for had not the Lord been merciful to show unto me concerning them, even as he had prophets of old, I should have perished also. And he did surely show unto the prophets of old all things concerning them, and also he did show unto many concerning us. Wherefore it must needs be that we know concerning them, for they are written upon the plates of brass. We're almost done. There's 3 or 4 more verses. Yeah, but this is all really bizarre. Verse 22, promise, close to the end. Now it came to pass that I, Nephi, did teach my brethren these things, and it came to pass that I did read many things to them, which were engraven upon the plates of brass, that they might know concerning the doings of the Lord in other lands, among people of old. And I did read many things unto them, which were written in the book of Moses, but that I might more fully persuade them to believe in their Lord their Redeemer, I did read unto them which was written by the prophet Isaiah, for I did liken all scripture unto us, that it might be for our profit and learning. Who was he teaching? Oh, his brethren. Sorry. He's teaching his brethren. Okay. So now he's reading the Old Testament to his brothers. All right. Wherefore I spake unto them, saying, Hear ye the words of the prophet, ye who are a remnant of the house of Israel, a branch who have been broken off. Hear ye the words of the prophet, which were written unto all the house of Israel, and liken them unto yourselves, that ye may have hopes as well as your brethren, from whom ye have been broken off. For after this manner has the prophet written. So the interesting, that was the end, chapter 19. But here's what's weird to me. It seems strange. Nephi is basically saying, shame on all the Jews for not accepting Jesus. Right? That's what he's saying. He's like, because I accept him. I believe in him. This is great. He won't exist for 600 years. This is the strangest part of this story. Is he's calling out that Israel's is damned because they won't accept Jesus. But there is no Jesus to accept. How is that something he can reconcile in his mind? That he's accepted a future event. I don't know. That was weird. And I'm telling you, so you know how, it's been a while since I did this, but I will look up and find out if, what in the world Zenoch, Nume, and Xenos were, because that blindsided me. I had no idea where that came from. Pretty fun, though. Won't lie. That was exciting stuff. So that's it for this episode, and wow. It got fun. I think it's fun again. We're in America now. Things are looking good. And we've got some crazy prophets. I think we still have the brass balls. That was cool. This was a fun one. And I want a lot more episodes like this. Just no more dreams. As long as they all stop dreaming and just crazy stuff keeps happening, then I'm going to be a happy man. So that's it for today. And as always, join us next time on My Book of Mormon. All right. Bye. This song is licensed for use within this podcast. All song and copyright information can be found at www.mybookofmormonpodcast.com.